Welcome to the Fantasy Football Prophet Podcast, hosted by Craig Phillips and Jeff Torrey. Visit us at fantasyfootballprophet.com. And now your hosts, Craig and Jeff.
Welcome everyone to the Fantasy Football Prophet Podcast. I'm Craig Phillips, joined as always by Jeff Torrey, and tonight we're actually talking about a football game that was just played, which is I didn't know we'd actually get to this point, but here we are, NFL football, Chiefs, Texans tonight. The game's just about wrapping up right now. It was all Chiefs for the most part. Texans came back here at the end, put a few points on the board, trying to make it interesting. But it's going to be a Chiefs win unless something dramatic happens here at the end. But let's just jump into this game, Jeff. We'll talk about some of the players here quick. We'll talk about the Chiefs, who, I guess we don't need to talk about Mahomes too much, except he just is Patrick Mahomes again. 211 yards, but 3 touchdowns. Just a solid game for Mahomes. That's probably even low end for what he will normally do, but he just, for no preseason games, nothing, he just comes in and is Patrick Mahomes again. And let's see, as we're going here, almost another Chiefs touchdown there. So the guy who just ran the ball got down to the 1 yard line, Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I think that's the biggest story, one of the biggest stories from tonight, right? He's the real deal.
Yeah, he looks really good. Obviously the Chiefs, it looks like their run blocking is even better than it was last year. And on top of that, you always have to worry about everything going on with the, them throwing a million guys at you in the secondary, so you can't ever load the box. That is my one question here, and I think it's kind of, it's way too early to even ask this, but we have to. Yep. So if they keep running it with Helaire and these other guys, right? So Helaire at this point right now has 24 carries. Darrell Williams has 7. There's a couple other guys. So they have over 30 carries. Obviously, Mahomes got his 3 touchdowns, but he only had, just over 200 yards passing. They will probably be up in a lot of these games. Do you see that actually hurting his yardage production at all, or is that just getting too far into the weeds?
It actually could a little bit. It's not going to be anything that I'm too worried about, but 25 carries now. Now at 25 carries now for Edwards-Helaire tonight, and I don't think that's going to go away. 7 for Darrell Williams there. I think this is this could be a thing they're looking to do this year. If they can run it like that, why not? Most NFL teams would love to be able to do that. And if you could, get yardage that way and save Mahomes a bit from even getting hit possibly or anything, why not do it? And he's still going to get his. But yeah, the number, the yardage could slightly go down a little bit. And what I've noticed here is they've given Edwards-Helaire a lot of opportunities in the red zone, like in the goal line tonight, and he hasn't actually converted any of them. That's the only knock I would say. But that might be taken away from a Mahomes touchdown or 2 there.
I was going to say, I think that is a good thing if you're a Mahomes owner, though, the fact that he didn't just absolutely kill it, because he could easily have 2 more touchdowns here. We're talking about Helaire. Yep. And on top of that, they didn't throw to them at all. I think maybe they tried to throw it to Helaire once. He didn't catch it. And Darrell Williams has 2 catches. So if they do give more rushes in the red zone and they aren't throwing it near as much, and first of all, they can do anything they want. It's one game. They were up. It's very difficult to tell what they're going to do.
Exactly.
But, if we're trying to read the tea leaves this far early into the year, it is just something to watch. Not like you're going to trade Mahomes or anything crazy, but it is something to consider. Like, what if this happens one more game? When do you start saying, oh man, like how much does this cap him? And
this really just might be they jumped out to a lead and not right away, but eventually get that lead, and they didn't have to go too crazy.
But the thing is, how many times are they going to do that? Their defense did not look bad either. Usually, they usually look a little bit shaky, and I think that's part of the Texans when we get there. But if they're able to play very solid defense, Mahomes and, everyone there is going to jump to a lead. So, the question is, maybe it hurts, Mahomes a little bit. I think the real story, like you said, is the fact that if you drafted, Helaire, you're looking pretty darn good right now. Yeah, but I'm just wondering, but there's a million other guys here, right? I don't want to get lost on the 2 that we would want to talk about. Well, but what did you see when you looked at the wide receivers today?
Honestly, they're spreading the ball around tonight, but Kelsey looks like the best target out there. Hill's going to get his. mean, Sammy Watkins, he needs to stop teasing us. I'm not buying this right now. Sammy, I'm not doing it. 7 for 82 and a touchdown. It's not enough for me. It's not enough at all.
No, next week it's going to be McCole Hardman. And even more so, the story I feel was Demarcus Robinson.
Two touchdowns.
If he would have held on to that, people would be freaking out and throwing him on their rosters, and they're going to forget about it. Do you see, because they got him the ball quite a bit, even with those drops, he does have 3 catches for 20 yards. But, anyone that is open, he's going to be the 4th option. He will get, obviously, targeted. Do you see any future for him this year?
Honestly, if he stops dropping the ball in the end zone. So
yeah, that was a rough one.
Mahomes will go away from him at some point. And I guess the only disappointment I had was McCole Hardman, just not really getting anything there, only 1 for 6.
Yeah, I think that just proved that it's going to be way too spread out to even figure it out. And because I'm with you, I don't believe in Sammy Watkins. I believe in the talent, but I think all these guys are talented.
Maybe this is the year, but it's going to have to. I'm going to wait a bit here, Sammy, before I believe in you. So
yeah, right. And just to give it a rundown too, just to give you an idea, if you didn't watch the game or if you don't have the stats in front of you, Sammy Watkins was 7 for 82 and a touchdown. Kelsey was 6 for 50 and a touchdown. Tyreek Hill caught one late, so he's 5 for 46 and a touchdown.
It's a typical Tyreek game sometimes.
Yeah, and then it was Robinson, Williams, Hardman with 3-2-1. Not a whole lot there, but that's really what it was. And Clyde Edwards-Helaire is going to end with 25 carries, 138 yards, and a touchdown. Only one touchdown.
Left a couple on the table.
Yes,
there.
And he averaged 5.5 yards a carry, which is saying something because Darrell Williams had 7 carries for 23 yards, which is only 3.3, which it is 7 carries. But if he was running through giant holes as well, if he had one big, we might say, okay, well, anyone can run here. But Helaire did, kind of give himself even more of a buffer than we thought he already had.
Yep. All right. How about the Texans side of things? They got some points at the end to make it a little more respectable and gave Deshaun Watson actually a solid fantasy game with about 22.8 points. So ended up being a decent game for him, but he ran one in at the end. He threw one to Jordan Atkins. Before that, it was a bit of a struggle for him. The only receiver, I guess, he really relied on there was Will Fuller, 8 for 112. Brandon Cooks didn't really show up, only a 2 for 20. Cobb, 2 for 23. Stills didn't get a catch. Just not much else there other than Fuller and I guess that Atkins touchdown on the receiving side of things. And Watson, he's missing DeAndre Hopkins tonight for sure.
Yeah, big time. If you were wondering if he was going to miss him or not, I thought maybe those wide receivers would do better. I think what was even more shocking to me, besides for the fact, Will Fuller actually doing well. It was just consistent throughout the whole game. There wasn't that one big play, which I thought probably, eventually there would be. No one else, jumping in. Randall Cobb didn't get a catch until the end of the game. I think he finally got 2 in the 4th quarter, unless I missed one early. And then Brandon Cooks got one early and then completely disappeared. Yep. It was very strange because the, KC defense actually was chasing him all around the field. He is a master at getting out of trouble, and he ran a little bit. I think he ended up with about 30 yards rushing, Deshaun Watson did. But I was very surprised on how much pressure that Kansas City was able to get on him and how he just didn't know where to go. And not necessarily his fault, but, there's no Hopkins anymore. There's no safety blanket. Who do you actually turn to? And we found out really quick he doesn't have that guy yet. Even Fuller, he wasn't looking for him, when he was scrambling out of the pocket. So that is kind of worrisome, even though he got his points either way. But if more games are going to be like this, it is going to kind of get ugly quick.
Hopefully, maybe this is just the first game, new receiver, with Cooks there. We'll see. We'll see how that plays out. But I guess for me, the biggest Houston story was actually David Johnson, who, I'll say I talked about it all off season, and it was always like, is he done? Is he not? I don't think he's done. He had something there. He actually had something left. A couple nice cuts, that nice touchdown run. He's the only issue is he only had 11 carries because they were down so much and they couldn't get him the ball more. It was what he turned that 11 into 77 yards, 7 yards a carry. He looked pretty solid and even got 3 catches. I guess I might be wrong on, is David Johnson done? Now, can he stay healthy? That's the other key here, which we it's a long way to go for that one.
Yeah, I couldn't say it any better. I mean, he did look pretty good. Who knows, over the course of a year. And, man, if he can't find other people to throw it to, you think that maybe he will throw it to him a little more. He had 3 catches for 32 yards on top of his rushing. He only had 11 carries because, obviously, they got down pretty quick. But they were trying to establish the run early, and they were doing a pretty good job of it. If I had to say who's going to be the takeaway out of this team right now, it has to be David Johnson. It has to be whoever picked him. Good for you. You took the leap of faith, and right now you're getting rewarded for it. Because as I look at this team, even Will Fuller, I loved what he did, but that wasn't the reason I didn't draft him. Right? It was because I don't think he's going to make it through the year. I knew that he was this good.
He is that good.
Surprised me. And Deshaun Watson, same thing. It was like this was a full roster of no one surprising me. Deshaun Watson found a way to get it done, even though it wasn't the prettiest game, right? Yep. And but David Johnson, he's the only one. I do have to say the only other person that looked good, even though it was very minimal, was Jordan Atkins. So
got that touchdown there.
Yeah, so even his first catch, he just looked more athletic. Like he was able to catch it and make a run after the catch. Yeah. There wasn't a lot else to analyze, so that's why I'm kind of getting into him. But if you're looking for another pass catcher, a tight end would be a great addition, and I feel like they could easily incorporate him more, especially with Randall Cobb, and at the moment Brandon Cook's not looking completely like themselves. So he might be an interesting one to watch because there is a lot of work that is left out there on the field.
Yep, definitely. So, all right, I think that's it. We'll wrap this thing up quick. Doesn't get easier next week, actually, for the Texans. They get to play Baltimore next week. So, it's a rough start to the year for them.
I was going to say, how does this affect going into next week? Like, I mean, Watson, you're probably starting no matter what. Fuller. Is there anyone else on this team that you've lost confidence in or gained it? And this can go for both sides of the football.
I mean, I need to see something more from Cooks. I don't think I could start Cooks next week. It'd be tough for me to actually do that. Everybody else, like David Johnson, makes me feel better about playing him if I were to have him on my team, which I don't have him on any teams. So I don't have to make that decision, but I'd feel comfortable starting him. I'm still good with, obviously, who cares about the numbers there from Kelsey and Hill. They got touchdowns. Their catches weren't much, but you're obviously always going to play them. Yeah. Sammy Watkins, show me something more. I need more. I need multiple weeks.
I was gonna say even next week after he did this.
No. God, no. I'm not falling for this.
I was gonna say no flex play, huh?
Not falling for this, Sammy. No. Show me more.
I know. I really do feel like it would be a different story if Demarcus Robinson would have just held on to the ball. I think that is the biggest it was almost like that would have been a huge shift in the waiver.
Yeah, definitely. So, all right, that'll do it. We'll be back late Sunday night. We'll talk about week 1 in the NFL. Talk to you guys then.